So I'm guessing a lot of people have also noticed how there's been a big uptick in videos with Forza Horizon 6 on how people are bored of it or I'm already bored of the game. There has pretty much been videos popping up everywhere. And I mean, kind of the wild part to me is there is also comments on any platform, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, X, pretty much everywhere, even YouTube comments of people talking about this. And to be honest, guys, I'm not all that shocked about it if I'm being 100% real, which I will talk about. Like, over the past week or so, even a little bit longer than that, I have been seeing so many of these videos pop up, and it really made me go, dang, okay, so this is definitely a trend that a lot of players or people seem to be really thinking about. And I'm sure people are like, well, why is that happening? What is actually the reason behind this? And before I jump into it, dudes, let me know what y'all think, alright? Why do you think Forza Horizon 6 is already boring? Let me know your honest thoughts in the comments below. I'm super curious because I like seeing what everybody has to say about it, from players or people who even casually jumped on it. Do let me know what y'all think. Now, some of the questions of this, could it be because people have been playing Forza Horizon for over a decade now and they're kind of used to the entire formula as I have discussed? I would probably say that could be a pretty big part of it. Maybe the overall progression system is not what people really thought about. As you go through, there's just simply not enough races. And to be honest, guys, I had to mention this because personally, I think they really messed up real bad with the amount of races in the game. Now, what I mean by that is the amount of road races and different things around the map, as there's just simply not enough of them. I've actually seen a few comments of people saying this is basically Forza Dirt, as when you are going through the story, you'll probably end up, if you want to call that a story, you will probably end up doing a lot more dirt races than road ones. And to be honest, I kind of think that was a big missed opportunity because, bro, we are in Japan. This map is obviously the best map they have ever created, but to be real, they pretty much created one of the best maps they've ever done. Pretty much so many different areas to go around. There's diverse elevation changes. There's so many things going on in this map that would probably get a lot of players hyped up. But if you really dive into it, though, it seems like a lot of other areas just did not simply fit it enough, or they kind of added the map with the overall hype behind it. And I kind of think this might be another driving factor to maybe why players might end up being bored is, yes, the map might be amazing, but if you look at the other areas around the game and all that, whether that's the overall progression, to be honest, guys, I see what they try to do with the entire wristband thing, but I kind of think it was kind of a miss, as the Legend Island to me kind of felt a bit useless when I finally got there. There was not a lot of stuff going on there. You get there, it's cool, you finish it up, and then it's kind of, I mean, that's kind of it. Like, a lot of people are like, okay, what do I do now type of thing, which is kind of an issue with a lot of racing games. But then again, though, if you want to have a similar formula to this, then that's probably what's going to happen. What's kind of hilarious is I'm going to say something super out of pocket real quick, and I'm totally open to anyone arguing with me in the comments, is I kind of feel like Forza Horizon 5 had more events and a better structure of races around the map, dude. Okay, I said it. I said it. All right. I think Forza Horizon 6 could have did way better with how they have the races designed. And I think that might end up playing a factor in why players are bored, because I've been seeing a lot of people saying, man, why is there no road races? Why is there not enough of them? How do we only have a few road races in Tokyo? How is there not more races around the areas, but we have off-road events basically everywhere? Like, I don't think people are probably going to enjoy that. And some of the other things I've seen about this, though, is people are like, why do we have off-road drift events? Why are all those not on the roads? As there is plenty of different areas for those. I'm interested to know what y'all think about that. As honestly, I can kind of see that being an issue. Why are we drifting off-road? As a lot of people might not be the biggest fans of those. Maybe put more onto the roads themselves. And speaking of that, though, the entire drifting thing, why is there not separate overall scoring for rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive cars in the drift zones to make things more interesting? Like, you could focus on a rear-wheel drive build, head into the drift zones and try to get the score that you need for that, or a better score, and then build an all-wheel drive type of vehicle and then do a similar thing with the scoring on there. Yeah, I don't really know, dude. I don't really know the thought process of not doing things like that, because it would only add on to players having more things to do once they finish the overall quote-unquote story of the game, which again, that stuff can definitely make players boring. And part of that, which is also probably boring to people, is the same festival playlist design. I've talked about this in videos, but I have to mention it here because it is a key factor of why players are bored of Forza Horizon 6. You have the festival playlist in there that is clearly, and I mean clearly, boring to a lot of players. The cars are already repeating, the events and all that are repeating. They've pretty much done the same races already. And if you really do think about it, though, if you're looking at something like the festival playlist and races are repeating, cars are already repeating 2 months into the game's life cycle, did they really think players were going to get excited to get a car they already unlocked? Meanwhile, Forza Horizon 5 has, what is it, like 300 cars that are not in Forza Horizon 6, and how are we getting repeats, bruh? How are we getting repeats already? That is not going to make players get excited. No, it is going to pretty much burn players out of the game, because even that last piece of what's keeping players coming into it, that might even push them away, because what's the reason of really going into it and getting that stuff? Because they've already done all that, dude. They're like, no, I've done this. I don't want to do these same races for cars I've already gotten. A really good game can really make people want to leave if people feel like they've done everything, as a lot of players are not going to be excited to jump on and do a festival playlist with something like the Eliminator in there, which people do not like, or having forced to do certain modes as there is not enough modes in there to do. Guess what? People are going to get bored and they're easily going to move on, guys. I mean, there is clearly not enough long-term stuff going on in this game. If we do think about something like PvP, for example, let's be real here as well. Shouldn't there be more rewards in PvP? Don't you all think we should have a better reward system in PvP? No game seems to do this correctly, man. Even Motorfest took over a year and a half to add a couple of rinky-dink rewards to the PvP system. How is there not, like, ranking systems, and I'm not saying ranked, by the way, I'm saying ranking systems in getting all kinds of cool badges and maybe some special colors for your cars, maybe some unlocks for vehicles, maybe even some cars that you can unlock from doing PvP. Like, make it worth actually doing and winning the races and doing better to give an incentive to play the online modes and have something tied to it. Not just a level 100 achievement. Once you get that, you pretty much move on. And players are going to keep doing something like, what is that? The spec racing. I have barely done it. I don't think I'm going to do it, as I have no motivation to do it. But you jump in there, you'll end up using the same amount of cars, the same amount of events. And people are honestly, at this point, man, they just might be done with it, you know? Like, you got to have some stuff long-term in there. I'm a bit confused in ways on other aspects of this as well, guys. I think that really burnt people out of this game really quick. People are mad hyped up for Japan, right? Everybody was hyped up for Japan, okay? Probably kind of obvious there, which is also, again, why I'm worried about the next Forza, because I don't know if that game will live up to the hype whatsoever where it is, okay? Because they had Japan here was one of the biggest opportunities to really take a leap and do some crazy stuff, and one of those is the car customization. I actually talked about this a little bit in that one video where people were expecting Need for Speed levels, and to be honest, I understand why they didn't do that, but I also think they could have did better 100%, guys. Adding that rinky-dink Forza arrow to stuff, they could have took 100 cars out of the game. Obviously, if we look at something like Need for Speed or even Tokyo Extreme has less cars, those games do have a lot of customization with less cars, so why don't they just take 100 cars in Forza Horizon 6, they could be JDM focused, some other stuff, and add a ton of customization to just those to keep players interested, but instead, there is nothing. And to be honest, one of the other things I think about a bit is kind of alongside the entire live service design of these games. Motorfest is in this, and now I think Forza's also really stuck in this a lot, is you're expecting a lot of these updates to really be like, oh man, I'm so excited, but when they show it and you see a few cars that you already have, and then you look and go, okay, look, I can get a badge or two. Do you guys really think that's going to get players excited? I'm honestly really surprised on how they are handling this game 2 months in. I was kind of expecting more bigger stuff added and also kind of more communication on things, and so far, I haven't really been seeing any of that, and to be honest, it's kind of a big disappointment. I'm not going to lie there, guys. I kind of think they could easily add a few more things to it. I mean, heck, bro, the car meet system? Does anybody even use the car meet system? I have barely seen anybody in those, as there is not much of anything or reason to even go in those. Forza Horizon 2 literally had a car meet system in it, and I think that game actually somehow was better in ways. And you can see that 6, it is almost the exact same design, but somehow in ways worse. And players just have no reason to go into that stuff, man. We really need reasons and things for players to get into the game. And when you have a progression system that doesn't really keep players interested, you have a terrible wheel spin design, by the way. I understand 5 wasn't that good with how they gave you everything, but Forza Horizon 6 has taken the biggest crazy backwards, I don't even know how to explain it, like path I've ever seen. Wheel spins are some of the worst things ever in this game, guys. No matter how much you grind, you basically get nothing out of them, okay? That's kind of unfortunate, but also very true. And not only that, though, making money in this game is probably not the most funnest thing ever. Like, sure, there's other ways to make money, tuning and different things, but if you're doing races or if you want to race in a racing game, races pay you peanuts, bro. If you wanted to farm races and get cars, you are going to be here for a very long time, okay? And players probably don't want to deal with that. I mean, heck, bro, I don't want to go have to farm wheel spins and stuff like that just to get some cars that are tied to progression. How in the world would they tie wheel spins to progression? Does that even make any sense, bro? I don't know whose idea that was, but I really don't think any exclusive cars, and I mean by that, is you could put the FE cars in there, that's fine. The Forza Edition's fine, but all the other cars, like the Sesto Elemento in those cars, should definitely not be in the entire wheelspin thing. And speaking of the wheelspin thing, by the way, did you all see the other thing that popped up about the entire car thing spawning in? Apparently someone had to go back and forth in the game or close and get on it 400 times to find one car to spawn in to the little stadium thing, bro. What? Are we for real? So yeah, they added some of the wheelspin exclusive cars with probably a lower chance of finding the car there than you probably would in a wheelspin, and that's going to help players get some of the rare cars because they got to have millions of dollars to buy them, and they're kind of removing a lot of the ways to make decent money. I mean, I understand the economy thing is kind of hard to balance in some of these games, but also making everything expensive and hoping players might buy car vouchers is probably not the best way to do it. Just keeping that 100%. Now, one of the other sides of this, though, I have seen a lot of other content creators saying, I've seen different comments on X and Instagram and stuff like that of people going, well, it is kind of just another Forza Horizon game. I mean, at the end of the day, you go through some stuff, you race, and you're like, okay, well, it's kind of just another Forza Horizon. I even saw one person say, one reason why I'm mad about this game is I paid the max money for it, AK around like $100, or some people were like, okay, well, I'm glad I did end up getting the game on Game Pass, as I really am glad I did not buy this game at full price, because it's essentially the same game as the previous two, with a couple of different things, or, you know, a new map. So, I'm kind of understanding that argument a lot more now, as people are like, you know what, this is just another Forza game, and it really seems like a lot of people are kind of just noticing that now. And guys, we've talked about it before, the game has definitely died off a lot more than I expected it to, and it's definitely probably going to keep going down because the next DLC is most likely next year at some time. Who knows when the PS5 launches? I'm surprised we haven't heard a thing about that yet, and we're coming up to August, so hopefully the game launches before GTA 6. If it doesn't, I would be very surprised, because I don't know why they pushed that game past that and hope people would buy it then, because, bro, people are already kind of bored of this game on Xbox, and PlayStation will jump on, they'll probably enjoy it, and I bet you in a month from after they're on, it will most likely go down again, because they might end up experiencing the same thing. And I'm going to be honest here, and I want to end this video off with something else that I've thought about, by the way, is Forza Horizon 5 for me was so dang exciting and amazing because it was my first Forza Horizon game, and I kind of think that's why I love the game and enjoyed it so much, even though that game was quote-unquote the worst of the series. But I have played every single game now in the series, and I may actually touch on this in a separate video, by the way. But jumping on Forza Horizon 6, though, after playing 5, I'm like, I mean, it's fun, but I can easily see why players might end up getting bored. And after playing every single Forza Horizon game, it's just the overall formula they've been using really has to change in some ways, guys. I mean, it really does. The fact that we're in Japan, there's not a lot of road racing, there's barely any customization whatsoever. If I'm being real, they 100% missed so many marks on this game that could have made it even more great and easily would have had a lot more players on it, even right now. Instead, the game is dropping almost under 20,000 on certain days on Steam, which is pretty dang wild to me. But y'all know what, though? I can easily keep yapping about this. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Why is everybody already bored of Forza Horizon 6? What do you guys think is the biggest factor? If I was to say it on my end, I would say the festival playlist is not keeping people engaged. It is not that fun to do. And on top of that, it's giving you old and also repeated rewards again. We are pretty much unlocking cars from Forza Horizon 5 as the new rewards in 6. The map is amazing in the game, but there is just simply not a lot of good things to do around it when it comes to races. Yes, there's PvP stuff, there's event labs, but it seems like people are even kind of tired of that stuff. And I kind of think the garages were cool, but also people kind of gave up on that. I think people would have rather not have custom garages and maybe had more customization instead. I kind of think that might have went farther. But again, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. It really does blow my mind how low Forza is and how basically everybody and tons of content creators and a lot of players are saying so many similar things about this game, already feeling so dang boring 2 months into it.